Fish on the back. Fish on here. Oh, what do we got going on here, guys? Oh yeah. They are feisty in the shallow water. I'll go ahead and stick a net under them just to make it official. So there you go, guys. Nice little walleye. Right up there in like 3 foot of water. Not very deep. Right up next to shore, right there. I'm sure you guys have heard of slow death. If you haven't, it's a curved hook like this. It's got a bend in it, but all it does is it spins your worm through the water. I'll show you guys when I get one rigged up. And you control it and catch every kind of fish in the lake. You can catch bass, you can catch pike, walleye, crappie, perch, bluegill, you name it, you will catch it towing around a worm. And so basics of this rig are, you can do this with a night crawler, you can do this with a gulp worm, you can do this with a plastic Wyandotte type worm, 4-inch worm, and all you do is you take it and you thread the thing up the hook. And I'm not the first one to tell you guys about this. There's a million YouTube videos about how to do this, so this isn't groundbreaking stuff, but I do want to tell you guys about it because it is so simple and it's so fun. So your worm kind of goes on the hook like this, and when it pulls through the water, it just spins in these big rotations, and it will get bites like crazy. What I'm doing this week, something kind of new, is a 1-ounce bottom bouncer, and I'm pulling this in 3 to 5 foot of water. Go straight down the shoreline at 1 mile an hour. Let these bouncers tick the gravel and stick them in the rod holders and just wait for them to bend over, and it's the greatest way to fish. So I'm going to take this down the lake to a couple banks where I've been catching a lot of fish and try to get a few on camera for you guys, talk a little bit about how to do this a little bit more, and yeah, so enjoy. I'll see you when I get down the lake. And to check it, all you gotta do is pick up your worm and look at it in the water, make sure it's spinning, set it back down, bouncer tunks bottom, put it back in the rod holder and wait. Fish on, fish on. What do we got here? It's a walleye. There you go, guys. That's how you catch a walleye on the slow death. See that hook? Gets him right in the corner. Hooked himself right in the rod holder. There you go, guys. That's a fish. That's what they look like. You catch them on the slow death. That fish was in 4 foot of water. It's a nice looking walleye too. He's very pretty, very photogenic. All right, we're gonna throw him back. All right, so I want to tell you guys a little bit more about this rig and how to run it. As I said, we're using a 1-ounce bottom bouncer this week. You could probably get away with a 1/2-ounce bouncer. It's just going to be a little farther behind the boat. You could probably do it with a split shot. That would even get it farther behind the boat. Might spook less fish in the shallow water, but it also doesn't allow you to turn real tight and follow contours in the shoreline as you see the drop off on the front fish finder. As you see it change, you won't be able to pull your lines real quick and make quick turns. So I'm kind of liking the 1-ounce bouncer this week, keeping it real tight to the back of the boat, keeping it ticking bottom, and just working it around the shoreline. Use about a 30 to 36-inch leader of 12-pound fluorocarbon. Don't go too light on the leader. Don't go too thick on the leader. 12 pounds about the sweet spot. Too thin and it'll spin up. Too thick and it won't spin enough. You want just enough leader to do this. You can put a bead in front of your worm, green, white bead. It's kind of cool, but you don't have to. You can put a floater there if you want to, although you probably wouldn't want to in shallow water. You do want to have a good ball bearing swivel here because this rig, like I said, just twists, so you want to have a good swivel. Braid usually for the main line. It just allows you to keep your stuff tighter, and you can do this with any medium spinning rod that you have, any junk bass rod, any trolling rod that you have. You don't really want a heavy rod, a medium heavy, medium fast rod. You want just a medium rod, something that'll just bend over, and when those fish grab it, it just kind of arcs over and you just lift it out of the rod holder. And it's so close to the boat, you want to set your drag a little bit light and have a little bit of rod to fight them on. So that's the rig and basics, and I'm gonna get back to catching some fish. Once you get a bite, you just kind of got to fix your worm. You got to, number one thing here in this game is if it doesn't spin, it doesn't catch a fish. So it has to spin. It has to spin. If it does not spin, you are not catching anything. So every time you catch one, or every few minutes, you pick it up and you check and you make sure it's spinning. You make sure everything's running cool. Just keep watching your rod tips. Make sure they just ever so slightly. I'm sure there's probably other ways to do this. I'm sure this isn't the best way to catch a fish in 3 foot of water. It's the way I like to catch them though. It's probably a situational thing. Right now it's May, the water temperature is 60 degrees, and these fish are still, a lot of these fish are still shallow. Really, there's fish out deep, there's fish up shallow. So, you know, this will work for a while, I'm sure, while they're still shallow. Once they kind of get off these banks, this isn't gonna be the deal. There's a fish on the inside rod. What is it? Oh, it's a crappie or a bass? I think it's a bass. It's a bass. That bass was by that tree. There you go. Oh, it's a spawning bass. Must have pulled him off the bed. He's locked on. He was locked on that bed right there. Get him way up there and poke it out. Bring him up so he's got a nice curve. Clean your dirty hands because you're worm fishing. And then check him in the water. If you've got kids and you want to bring them out and just get bites, the spinning worm will do the trick for you. It'd be a great way to just let your kids reel in fish all day. You have plenty of action. Use live crawlers, half a live crawler, and you won't get bored, I'm sure. They should have a good time. 2.6 feet under the deucer. When you tie these on, leave a little tag end right here. Like that right there, and it'll hold your worm on a little better. So look how close to the cattails I'm gonna drag this 1 ounce bouncer. Fish on right there, right off the cattail. Look at that. Oh, he came off. Damn it. Fish on the back. Fish on here. Oh, what do we got going on here, guys? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I don't have a net out. Oh my God, thrash a little more. That was the fish I needed 2 days ago. Let's see if we can. Fish on. Oh. Oh, that's a big smallie. Oh no. That's not what we wanted to catch. Not the target species here. So that's what I meant when I said it catches everything in the lake. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up today. I caught a bunch of walleye and bass, as you can see. I just wanted to show you guys slow death in 3-4 foot of water with a bouncer, 1 mile an hour. You tow behind the boat. It's a spinning worm. It's the simplest, stupidest thing. It's not the most glamorous thing, but I'm not one for casting a jig around and trying to be finessey on them, so I just drag stuff. And it catches fish, so if you want to catch fish, put on a spinning worm, come out, drag it around the shoreline, keep your speed slow, keep the worm spinning. You should catch some fish. As always, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. Till next time, I'll holler at you.